So after 6 months of moving up to the criminalization of ownership of the American Bully XL without paperwork, for the past 2 months, people like me have been saying, if your dog matches 6 out of 10 of the features, if it is a minimum of 60% or more of the features, whether it has a leg length that is less than 20 inches or more than 24 inches, you have to get it registered. I've been telling people, do it now while we've got the grandfathering in period, because if you do not, the Section 4B exemption route is so much more difficult. Ask anyone over the past 32 years who has had a pit bull type dog taken from them and had to go through this process. Firstly, if the police seize your dog from now on, they have every right to do it and you can't fight back. You can say this, I will not be signing your paperwork, because the moment you sign that paperwork, your dog will die within 1 hour. You refuse to sign the paperwork and you declare that you are going for a Section 4B exemption. This was added to the Dangerous Dogs Act in 1997. It gives people who have a dog that is deemed safe in a court of law by either a dog liaison officer or an independent dog behavioralist or psychologist to come in and assess your dog. And in the meantime, they won't just assess your dog like the DLO. We will assess you as well to see if your energy matches your dog's and to see if you truly are capable of having your dog. You will have to pay for us. You will have to pay for lawyers. You will have to pay the court fees. You will have to pay for the exemption cost, which you could have done in the past 2 months. You're going to have to pay for third-party liability insurance still. And if you don't do it within 2 months of a judge declaring that your dog is safe and acceptable to go home under the restrictions of the Index of Exempted Dogs, your dog is going to be seized a second time and killed. Now, how long is a dog seized until you're able to get it back if you can pay immediately? Well, that varies from what part of the country you're in and how much criminal cases that are on the books at the time. If you're lucky and there's not much criminal cases, not likely, is it, in England, and you live in one of the more urban centres, again, it's not likely, you can in theory have your dog back in 6 months, within which time it will be temperament tested, including having whips whipped in front of its kennel, having cats and dogs brought past to see if it will be reactive, have its food taken from it mid-eating to see if it will be reactive, and pinched between its paws, right here, right here, right here. If I did this as a dog psychologist, if you do it as a dog owner, we could be thrown in prison for animal cruelty and animal abuse. But if it's not a quick time and you're going to have to wait for longer than 6 months, it could be up to 2 years of your dog's life. Now, I'm sorry, but most of you people deserve what's going to happen to you because you're lazy. How many of you had the past 2 months, at the very least, you had the whole 6 months to get your dog exempted? And you couldn't be bothered to do it. You listen to these fake dog activists on Facebook, on Instagram, saying, oh, you've got papers, your dog's a different type. Don't get it registered. Wait for the last minute. Wait for the review. Well, yeah, there was a review at the end of last month, and what did the end of this month, and what did the review say? Dogs that were adopted out after October last year can still be exempted and saved. It did not change the law. You people don't understand politics and how our system works in Britain. I don't even live in England anymore. But when I get annoyed at people in other areas of politics, and I say you don't understand how our system works, you people laugh at me. You was laughing at me up until today. And now because of your advice telling people to wait or ignore the laws, People are in tears and stressing right now, admitting that, quote unquote, they fucked up because they listened to fake pro-XL bully activists and fake pro-pitbull activists online like you idiots telling them to wait. Oh, you've got kennel club papers. That means your dog's safe. Bullshit. You didn't listen to people like me. You did not listen to people from DDA Watch. And DDA Watch are now going to be your #1 best friend because they're still going to help you with your dogs and talk you through the process of a Section 4B exemption. Remember, don't sign the papers. It's a Section 4B exemption if your ass is not willing to drive you and your dogs to Scotland to get your ass on a plane or a ferry to Ireland and get out of the United Kingdom to save your dog's life. Remember, you can always get a job anywhere else. You can always rebuild your life, but you cannot live past the regret that you have cost a life to die. If you have ever seen a human being die in front of you, if you ever had to end a life because you've had service in the military, if you've ever had a friend because you live in one of these main inner city urban areas that has been murdered through mistaken identity or because they was dabbling in the world of drugs and gang life, you will know the guilt that you live with for the rest of your life. And if you don't, it's because you're a psychopath, a clinical psychopath. We warned you, but you listen to these fraudsters on Facebook and Instagram. And people wonder why I get angry at people. People wonder why my passion is so strong, because when we warn you, we're laughed at. And then when the deadline comes, you turn around and say, oh, I fucked up. You was right. You was right. We should have listened. Well, why didn't you? Now you got two options. Get your ass out of the UK. Via Scotland. Second stop over in Ireland. You can stay in Ireland. Ireland doesn't have a Dangerous Dogs Act. Or you can use that to then get your ass into the European Union. I am so sorry that you are hurting right now. But if you don't do that, you're going to have to get your dog murdered, killed, because murder is a legal classification of unjustifiable homicide against a human being. So your dog's going to be killed, or you're going to have to go through the process I've just explained in an annoyed voice. For 32 years, we've had a Dangerous Dogs Act in the UK. For 32 years, it has failed on its basic mission statement to stop the breeding of certain types or breeds of dogs. There are now more pit bulls and Dogo Argentinos and Japanese Tosa Inus in the UK than ever before. Or you're going to have to contact DDA Watch. You're not going to sign papers over when the police come and seize your dog. And you're going to lose it for 6 months to 2 years, while you go through the process which you could have done in one morning in the past 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months since the end of September, when the DEFRA guidelines were released, of which I was one of the first to come out and say before any of the big places that these guidelines are too damn vague. And I want to say thank the good Lord that the American extra large bully has not come to the UK. But sadly now these scumbag dealers and breeders, these lazy bastards who can't be bothered to get a real job, these inner city scumbags, these peasant-minded parasites, forgive me for my language, but when you suck on the lifeblood of something else to take all you can from it, there's only one word for that, and that is a parasite, a leech, have now moved on to a different type of dog, the Cane Corso, the Mastino Italiano, the Italian Mastiff. Some have also gone on to the Mastino de Canarias, which is the Canary Mastiff, or as we all know it, the Prisa Canario, native to here in Spain and the Canary Islands. And some have even gone back to the 1970s bad dog, Cujo himself, the Rottweiler. So you can see in a few years that those dogs are going to be outlawed and criminalized too. I speak with passion on things because if I don't, it means I don't give a damn about the topic. Whether it's about this, whether it's about these illegal Abduls jumping our borders, coming to the UK, getting everything they want while our own are being forced to live on the streets saying they got no priority for housing. They can't get a job because they're homeless, they don't have a permanent address. Pushing them closer and closer to drug and alcohol addiction, crime, desperation, prostitution, despair. These people are jumping our borders, pushing past legal migrants who have waited in the queue as they should do. And again, I'm angry about it because I am a migrant here in Spain. And I am not breaking the law. I didn't enter without papers. I've got my national identity number. And I'm now having to wait 3 more damn years until I can get residency. But I'm not breaking the damn law. People who go to countries and other countries lawfully, they get pissed off when illegal aliens jump the border and get rewarded with privileges. We don't want them scum as much as the people who are